Alright, so we're going to try our first flipped classroom activity in this class, and we're going to try it for our language arts class, and it's going to be on homonyms. In class today I gave you a Word document that looked like this, what you see on the screen in front of you. It has some information for you and your parents on how flipped classroom works, and it also has guided notes for you to fill out. They look just like this as well. Makes it a little bit easier for you. You do not have to write in Cornell notes this time, you can just fill in the blanks as we go along. The benefit of using a flipped classroom instruction approach is that it allows you to do a lot of different things. The first thing it allows you to do is pause if you need a moment to write, rewind if you need me to explain it and have you hear it one more time, or fast forward if you really had to rewatch the whole thing again and skip to a certain part. So it's really beneficial, and even it's one opportunity that you'll never have in class, and that's to hit mute when I'm talking. So have fun with that too. So what I want to do is have you guys do the lecture itself with me on the video, and it will take a lecture that would normally take somewhere around a full class period, maybe even 2 class periods, and shrink it into a short video. So please make sure that as you're watching the video, you fill out the information as you go, you understand everything, and if you don't, you can just stop wherever you are and email me, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Now, since I am going to be on a video and you can pause it whenever you need to, I am going to go through the presentation kind of quickly, so please make sure you feel free to pause or rewind if you need me to say something again. So that's how a flipped classroom works. So now we're going to get started. Homonyms themselves. Homonyms include things that are a word that are the same or sound the same. So a word the same as another in sound and spelling or have a different meaning, aka words that look and sound the same but have different meanings. Now you'll notice that this right here matches very closely with the worksheet that you have, which is exactly by design. That way you have the exact notes that I need you to have. So again, a homonym is something that looks and sounds the same but has a different meaning, and is something that a lot of our students at this school are struggling with right now. Homonyms have 3 main categories, and those 3 categories are homographs, which are homonyms that share the same spelling, homophones, which are 2 or more words that share the same pronunciation but have different meanings, or heteronyms, which are homonyms that share the same spelling but have different pronunciation. So we're going to go through one by one and explain them and list examples. So please make sure you do that on your worksheet as we go through. First, we're going to start with homonyms in general. Some examples of homonyms include lean and lean. They sound the same, they're spelled the same, but they mean something totally different, and you really need to read the context in order to understand it. On one hand, lean could mean thin, like a runner who is lean because they run every day. Or lean, like rest against. Every day in between classes, I lean against the door to my classroom. So those are words that are spelled the same and sound the same, but have completely different meanings. That's what a homonym is. Another example would be to skip, as in to jump, or to skip, as in to miss out. So you can skip across the courtyard at school, which is to jump, or you can skip class, which means you're hiding in the bathroom instead of actually going to class. An additional example is type. Type can be something that you are writing on a keyboard for a computer, so you can type a report for class, or you can have a certain type of juice that you like to drink, which means a sort. Again, another example of 2 words that look alike, are spelled alike, and sound alike, but mean something completely different, which is a homonym. Another example would be a bear, which is an animal, or bear to carry. So if you go camping near Cotopaxi, you might see an animal, and if you, like a bear, and if you go camping in Cotopaxi, you might have to bear the load of your backpack, which it means to carry a heavy load. Next up, we have homophones. Homophones, again, as we just discussed, sound alike but are different words and are often spelled differently as well. Our first example is your and your, and I've noticed that a lot of you struggle mightily with your and your when it comes to your writing. The one on the left, right here, your means possession. It belongs to you. It is your juice, your backpack, your belonging. And this one with the apostrophe is a contraction for you are. So you're going to the store today. You are. So sounds the same, spelled completely different, and they are completely different words. Our next one is going to be which. On the left here, which is deciding between two different things. Which sandwich do I want, the bologna or the turkey? On the right-hand side, you have a witch, as in something you would see on Halloween that practices magic. Another example of homophones would be dye, and this is the kind of colored dye that you might dye eggs or t-shirts or something like that. And this one means you're no longer living. Our next example of a homophone is seen, like the scene of a movie, or seen as in I have seen something. Again, they sound alike, they're spelled differently, and they mean completely different things. This next one is one that a lot of you guys struggle with a whole lot. This one actually has 3 different spellings and they sound the same. There, and there. On the left, T-H-E-R-E is over there. It is announcing location of something that's far away, or at least something that you can point to. In the middle, T-H-E-Y''R-E is another contraction, and that means they are. They are going to the movies. They are. And this one on the right, T-H-E-I-R, there, again, is an example of possession. Their belongings are over on the floor. So this is another thing that you really need to know the difference, and is a struggle for a lot of our students, especially if they're just learning English as a second language or as a third or fourth language. Our next thing that we're going to talk about are heteronyms. Heteronyms are spelled the same, they look the same, but they sound different and are in fact different words. Our first one is object and object. Object would be to say that you find something that you disagree with, or in a court someone can object, meaning they disagree with something. Object just could be a thing. This is an object, this is an object, this is an object, yet they're completely different words that have nothing to do with one another, and those are heteronyms. Another example would be read and read. Read is past tense, read is an act, they're both verbs that you're going to be doing. These are some of the common homonyms that most people get mixed up when they're either writing essays, journals, or any type of text. There, and there, which we've already discussed. Right, and right. Your and your. Ring and ring. Whose and whose. Bear and bear. Sail and sail. And peak and peak. I think you're starting to get the idea behind homonyms, but if not, you can always continue to look up things online. Email me and ask me in class, or rewatch this video. But before we go, I want to test you out with some examples. They're pretty easy, and a lot of times it just comes down to what sounds better, and that especially goes for people who are used to speaking English. But if you're just learning it or you're trying to practice some more, these can be a little bit tricky. So our example for number 1, I would blank you not to speed at night. Your 2 choices are advice or advise. I want you to fill out whichever one you think is correct, and I'll check it in class tomorrow. Number 2, blank dirty shoes are on the carpet. Whose and whose. And number 3, how can you blank your wallet? Loose or lose. That's it for this presentation. If you have any questions or if you need to rewatch it, please feel free to do so. If you have any questions about why we use flipped classroom, I'd be happy to answer those as well. And if you have any other issues, I can talk to you in class. Have a good night.